Wow, wow.
Welcome to DogStar.
Each week we sit down with a star of rap and R&B, and this week we have the pleasure of sitting down with Blaq Justice.
That'd be me.
How you feeling?
Right now, pretty good. I'm pumped. I'm feeling pretty good.
We feel lucky to have you in.
Oh, feelings mutual. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate you making the trek, and we appreciate your representative sending 2 tracks over that we'll play at the end of this episode. So stick around.
Hey, yeah, do that.
So our research says that you weren't born in Minnesota.
No, I was not.
Sounds like Petersburg, Virginia,
Yes, sir.
the 804.
St. Petersburg, Russia?
No, and not Florida either.
Right.
Petersburg, Virginia, yes,
Okay.
804. I like that. I like that you knew that.
We had to dig in
To dig in a little bit, but that's all right. Yeah, no, I was born and raised there until I was probably about 16.
Okay.
And then due to some circumstances, the people I were living with, we moved up here, and I've been up here ever since. I mean, just making music. Been with my now wife. You know, we've been together for, I better get this right, like 17 years or something.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, so long time, a lot of fights, a lot of lovins, a lot of fights.
Before said circumstances brought you to Minnesota, what was childhood like growing up out east?
It was not great, not great at all. I mean, I would say I had it just as bad as anybody else, no worse, Dad was there but wasn't around. Mom was same thing. She was there, She did her best with the tools she was given. I thank God that I had my grandma and my aunt to keep me out of as much trouble as they could. I did grow up where I grew up, so it wasn't like I was gonna be able to stay out of trouble forever. It finally caught up to me. I got in some serious trouble when I was about 15. Was facing a lot of time. So like I said, the people I was living with at the time decided that maybe it's best if I'm not in Virginia anymore. Right. So moved to the middle of nowhere, Minnesota, when we got here from what was it? We were living in Richmond at the time.
Oh.
But then moved from Richmond, Virginia to Dassel, Minnesota. Now, I don't know, how far your reach is with all your viewers and whatnot, but if you know Dassel, Minnesota, you know the shell shock, the culture shock I was in when I got here. I mean, buildings and things being within 15-minute walks or, a cab.
Right.
A cab,
Especially coming from Richmond,
then it's like, what am I supposed to do out here? How do you adjust?
How do you adjust?
Yeah. But I had to. I didn't really have a choice, because going back to Virginia, then, which was the only alternative, meant running back into the same people, falling back into the same patterns, and now I'm just a statistic, I'm like, and if I'm gonna be one, I want to at least be, on a good chart or something,
Exactly. No, for real.
So,
I am curious, were you doing anything with music before you moved here?
Even like church or school?
Music has always been a part of my life. I just didn't know it at first. So again, like I said, where I grew up, I guess before I moved up here a little bit further, I lived in Chesterfield, Virginia.
Okay.
Again, country.
Rural.
There's nothing to do out there. And, I got ignored a lot. There was not a lot of compassion in my home, the house that I was living in. No kisses, good nights, no hope you have a good day at school. Now, that was, if it was happening, I'm like, okay, mom's drunk, kind of thing. But it was like, so, I didn't grow up with a lot of compassion. And, I guess I had one of my teachers that obviously can read that kind of stuff. And, she had told me like, just why don't you try writing poetry, and I started with poetry when I was probably like, I don't know, to be honest, like 10 years old. But I'm already, I don't get a lot of interaction. When people do talk to me, it's mainly just them picking on me. So I just, you don't want to go around at 10 years old telling people you're writing poetry. So I just kept that to myself, like at all times, and then as I got older, when I would go to like my grandma's house or whatever out in Petersburg or Ettrick, people would just be walking around the block freestyling. And then I'm just like, that's the same thing I'm doing, like they don't know I wrote this stuff. So then I'd get, and I'd put like some of my poetry in there and I just freestyle it, so to speak. And people like, oh, that's dope. That's cold. Yeah. I'm like, well, how come it's acceptable like this, but it ain't acceptable if I write it down on some pink paper or something like that? Because that's how, you know what I'm saying? That's the mood. That's how my poem feels. Like, I need some softer background on it so it could, come out the right way. Right. But if I just freestyle it out the air, now all of a sudden it's acceptable. So, once I found that out, you go the route of what's there. Everybody's talking about what they're talking about. So that's what I did for the longest time until, I didn't actually start getting serious about music until I moved to Minnesota.
Really?
So it was more like I had made a mixtape, so to speak, with some friends. I think one of my buddies, we actually went by, what was it, New Breed. And that stuff is nowhere on nobody's internet, nothing. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, we weren't able to find it, so that's a good sign.
It's, that stuff, that was the first thing I ever did. We brought like a CD up here, and like one of my buddies heard it, and he was known in the school, so he was playing it for everybody. So by the time we finally got to the school, like the DC high school, everybody knew who me and my brother Trey was.
Y'all
because
celebrities
they were like,
at this point.
Y'all were the guys who did the yada yada yada. I can't even remember any. I think we did that Styles P Good Times beat. It was the only one I really remember. And I don't even remember how the song went, but I remember that like people loved that one. And I'm like, all right, cool. So, I think I was going by D-Boy at that time, DEEBOY. Like, and I kept that for the longest time. And then I think it would have been what I started. I was in this group, the L42. I know that's out. That's that again, old stuff.
I mean, how old were you when
How old was 18? I was like 18 when I was working on that stuff. Wow. So that was when I first like kind of started doing music and started getting into it and like feeling myself enough to actually do it. And then I don't know, I think we did a show at, what was it, like the Red Raven or the Raven or something like in, was it North Dakota, South Dakota? I don't know. That was like my first show I'd ever did though. I ended up having to like freestyle a whole song because this chick came there like ill prepared, or somebody was supposed to come there with her, and all she had was the chorus to the song. And she was just like, I really want to do this song, to showcase my vocal range, but I have nothing to fill in the verses. And my buddies was like, hey, why don't you just get up there and freestyle? I'm like, I have no idea what the song is. I don't know what the tempo is. I don't know what the song's about. What are you talking about? And then I got up there and did it. So,
oh my God.
So what did I say? I don't know. It kept the people going enough. No one could tell that it wasn't an original wrote down song.
Wow.
And I mean, was it great? Probably not.
But I bet it was at least
Probably
good.
not. It was good. I didn't get booed off stage.
Hey,
and she didn't sit there and look at me going, I made a mistake. I should have just let nothing play.
And that first time on stage, did you have more butterflies or more excitement?
My first time on stage, I feel the same way I do now.
Really?
I get that anxious, nervous feeling. I get the butterflies. Depending on how big the show is, I get like the hot and cold sweats. I'm just like, I'm going through it, my boy, every single time. And the second I get on that stage and the first note of the first song plays, I'm gone. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what happens. I don't know. Like I told my therapist, I'm gonna let y'all in on a little therapy session. I told my therapist that if I could find whatever that feeling is that I get when I'm on stage performing, if I could put it in a bottle or liquefy it, put it in a little dropper, or put it in some pills and just be able to take one, a little half of one every day, nothing could shake me. There would be no problem in life that I couldn't tackle. Because for me, it's like, I don't know, like almost like transcending, man. Like you get to get out there and whether people are there to see you specifically or not, you get to just put it all out there. And that's what I love doing. I love that feeling. I get the same feeling of escape, whether I'm playing to a room of 200 people, which has happened, or if I'm playing to a room of 2 people, which has happened. So it doesn't matter. If you came there to see a show, I'm going to give you a show. I'm not going to hold the microphone. I'm not going to just tell you to put your hands up and rock back and forth. I'm not like, no, you came to see a show. If I get off this stage and I'm not dripping, pouring with sweat, you wasted your money, even if it was a free show.
Yeah, where did you learn great stage and artist habits like that? Were you spending time with?
I'm going to have to attribute that a little bit to my boy Mookie, because he helped me with my stage game, definitely.
Okay. Mookie the
Magician. Mookie the Magician. Shout out Mookie. And then I will attribute that to, like I said, just my, I guess, being able to let go when I'm up there. I feel like that's my true nature. My true nature is a performer. Whether it be entertaining my kids, trying to be goofy, whether it's, I'm trying to be funny and tell my wife a story, whether I'm at work and something's going on and we make this crazy comparison or, to what work is like, that's just me. I don't know. It's a gift and a curse sometimes, like sometimes it's great because, like you said, you can help somebody through a song that they're not prepared for.
Right.
And then sometimes it's not so great where you're taking your shirt off and dancing on an 80-year-old lady in Florida, which has happened.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was her birthday. I guess her niece or granddaughter, son was performing. I had one too many drinks. And me and my buddy were just on the dance floor, just going crazy. Because again, we're from Minnesota. We're not from Florida.
Right.
It doesn't
Never
matter.
see these people again.
I'm not gonna see any of you again. I don't care. And we were just out there getting it. And she was like, "Well, since y'all stole the show anyway, that's my grandma. Can y'all just go dance on her for the next song?" I'm like, "Say less."
No problem.
So we did it, and it was great until I stood up and $40 dropped off my back, and I was like, you know what?
Oh,
It's time to control yourself. My wife has a video of this. You would think she would be like, "Hey, calm down. You doing too much."
But she's just
the video is just her. What?
Oh, no.
Lady. And I walked over next to her, and I was just like, "Where were you?
supposed to have my back.
How did you let this get so far out of hand?" She's like, "Go, keep dancing, go." I was like, Nah, I've had my fill.
Yeah.
And so being transplanted in Minnesota, I'm sure, was there a hiatus in the music making? You said you didn't really take it super serious until you got here.
I didn't take the music serious until I got here. The hiatus actually came from the transition from D-Boy to Black Justice. That's where the transition came, or the hiatus came in.
Yeah, I guess real quick, any other names before those, before D-Boy, or was it just?
Nope, it was just, it was D-Boy, it was Black Justice. Well, there's a couple of songs that said Blaq. There was a few of them that just said Blaq. But then, I added the Justice on there. That's a funny story as well. A lot of people ask me, like, how did you come up with the name Black Justice? And I went to go see my floral guy, if you will. And I knocked on his door, and he opened the door, and just the way he did it, it was the funniest thing. I can't even, he just swings the door open, and he's like, "Black Justice." And I'm like, I didn't hear anything he said after that, because he turned around and he walked. I think he said comment. I don't know if he had a build up after it or something. Right. All I heard was Black Justice, and it stopped me dead in my tracks. I was Black Justice. Huh. Because Blaq was supposed to just be an acronym. It stood for Beyond Losing, Above Quitting. That's what I was going to go by at the time. But then when I did it, at the time I was going by Blaq, there was like 6 other Blaqs. There was 6 Blaq, there was Black Bear, there was Blaq. There was like 6 different other Blaqs. So I was wrestling with that for a minute. And then when my buddy threw in that Black Justice and the way he it's just that aha moment. I'm like, you know what? So we sitting there, we're talking about flowers, and he's like, "Hey, bro, you're not listening. Like, what's going on?" I'm like, "Man, I think I'm gonna use that name." He's like, "What name? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Black Justice. I think I'm gonna add that on to my name, and I'm gonna just go by that." And that, to be honest, adding the justice onto my name brought more revenue than people before they clicked on one song. You know why? So everybody said, "Who's this corny dude? Black Justice sounding like some superhero wannabe." Like even one of my buddies who showed me somebody who ended up loving my music. He showed me the stuff leading up to the text before the dude came back, and he's like, "Man, dude sounds like a superhero. What's going on?" Did. I'm just like, you know what? I'm glad. I am so glad that, because a lot of my friends obviously were giving me all kinds of crap about it. They're like, "Are you gonna put on like the onesie and get tights, you a cake?" Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Don't tempt me.
Why not?
I might show up to a show like that. Don't do it.
Or do a music video like that. Yeah.
But yeah, like just the name alone started bringing people in, just wanting to listen to it, because I don't know if they thought they were just gonna be like, "Ha, this dude's super corny. I'm gonna clown him," and then they're just like, "Oh man, this dude's good. Like this dude's all right. He's actually all right, you know."
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, dope. You were able to find a hook like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was meant to be. It was weird because, you know, he didn't even, in his mind, like I still tell him the story to this day, and he's like, "Bro,
not sure.
I remember the day you're talking about, but I don't remember coming up with the name." I'm like, well, either way.
It's written.
It's too late at this point.
And now for all eternity here, we got to take a break in about 30 seconds.
All right.
You can follow Black Justice on Instagram, BLAQ_Justice. Spotify is BLAQ space Justice.
Hey.
You can follow DogStar Podcast at DogStar Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking more discography, early collaborations, and more here on DogStar with Black Justice.
Follow us, DogStar Podcast. Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Welcome back to DogStar.
Sitting down with Black Justice. Learned a little bit about what brought you to Minnesota, at least. How you got the name Black Justice. And now we want to dig into this extensive discography.
Extensive, I like that.
It's it was sweet, man. We listened to every song we could find by you over like the last week. So we're
thank you.
Yeah, fun hearing.
Thank you. Again, we're fans first, so it's already to learn that Blaq is an acronym.
Yeah.
Are to learn some of the heavier aspects of some of these releases we're about to talk about. Has put them into a new light for me as a fan, and I hope it will for your other fans as well.
All right. Yeah, I got fans.
You do, seriously.
Definitely.
That's humbling. That's humbling.
So we want to know. First song. What? How far back are we looking? What's the first track?
What haven't you pulled tonight?
Yeah, exactly. Oldest song that people can find, I guess.
The oldest one y'all could find, that would have to go back to the L42 days.
Right.
I think that would be the oldest stuff that's on the internet. There was actually one I did have under D-Boy, but I can't even remember. It was a feature with somebody I did from like the Minnesota Business University or something like that. So I don't know. That would probably be like the first song I would say I made in Minnesota, or like that got out there without my doing. I can't even remember the name of the dang on thing though. But yeah, I would say my first like real stuff I put out would have had to have been with the L42 or excuse me. I think he went by Timmy the Scrub at that point in time.
Okay. What does L42 stand for again?
Live for today.
Live for today.
So, you know, it was YOLO before YOLO was YOLO. It was my
L42,
YOLO,
baby.
you know. I even went and got it tatted on me. So,
Hey.
yeah, no, it was serious to me for a while. It was my attempt at music when I got to Minnesota. I wanted to do something, you know, and Tim did music, and then my homeboy Kyle, we changed his name up to Ecly. He was actually pretty dope in his day. I still talk to him, you know, circumstances of life kind of like drew us away from each other, but within some of those same circumstances brought us back together. We don't do music anymore, but I still talk to the guys. I still love them. So.
Ooh, that's cool. What do you think? Well, like you said, life. But I was going to be like, what keeps bringing you back to music, or why haven't you?
To music, mental health, really. And, like that is, I have found that music is my only thing that I know that I can be 100% like vulnerable. You know, I can be me and my music. And if no one likes it, you know, it wasn't, you know, my music isn't meant for everybody.
Right.
You know, it's just like I said, it's not meant for everybody, but those who like it, love it. You know, but for me personally, it's just most of it's about my own experience, what I'm going through in my head, what's going on in my mind, how I'm feeling, because, you know, I didn't grow up being taught the correct way to handle emotions, you know, and especially as a guy in the time that I grew up in, you know, you fall, you can't, you know, if you fall and you get hurt, I don't want to see no tears. Toughen up. Be a man. Don't cry. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff that I just held on to. And it wasn't until probably like 3-4 years ago when I went to therapy that I learned how to handle some of these things, how to move through some of these what some of these emotions even mean, you know? Why I'm not acting, I'm reacting, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So therapy is important. Mic tap. Dang it. I knew I was going to do it.
Did you?
Therapy is important. Do it. Especially if you're going through something. Do not wait until it's too late.
And have you found that, obviously, I would hope it's helped other personal aspects of your life. Has that helped your creativity at all?
Yes, it did help my creativity. I went through a stint where I was actually medicated for a while. It helped the mood, but for me, at a point, it did kind of stifle the creativity. So I had to find a better balance. Medication just wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? So I got to, you know, I navigate it differently. You know, I don't go through my deep throes anymore. I'm not like overly excited or, you know, deathly depressed anymore. I can hover around that normal line, you know. Right. But yeah, I'd say music is just therapy for me. So as long as I need therapy, I'm not going to stop making music. So.
And then before therapy, did you have that same mentality of like, this music isn't for everybody, or did you learn that through?
Nah, before that.
Because, one of your earliest tracks I remember listening to was like, I'm Good on My Own.
Yes. That was my first EP that I had put out. And I was going through the roughest of times when I wrote that album. I think, it's like 7 songs, and the first 6 are basically a giant middle finger to everybody.
Yeah.
You know? Because that's pre-therapy. That's before I knew, all I knew was anger. That was the only emotion I was really taught. That was the only one, I understood or thought I understood. So that was the one I always went with. I stuck with anger. That was my thing. And a lot of those songs came out, and that realistically, I'm glad you bring it up. I really don't even like that album. I can't even listen to it most of the time.
It's a 420 in your feels,
It was very much one of those ones, like I would say when I first came out, I used to do that a lot. Every time I did shows, that was my set list. That was my material. People loved True to Me. I mean, for the first easily 10, 15 shows I did in Minneapolis, every time an artist who had seen me perform that song before, if they were there the next time, you got True to Me? Bro, it's True to Me on your set. It got to the point where I was just like, I don't want to do the song no more. I started doing music with other people, and I was in a better mood.
Yeah.
So to do those songs, it's like, I understand, it helps you. You like it. You know what I'm saying? And again, you can't choose what the people like.
Right.
And it got to a point where I don't even, like, most of the time, I don't even bring that album up. Like, that's one of the ones where I'm just like, I needed to get that out of me. Yeah. So I just,
So, with that being said, would you ever include one of those songs on a future set list?
Actually,
or if you were paid the right amount of money and the Prince wanted it in his birthday present,
I mean, realistically, I've thought about. I have a few of my artist friends who have asked me to do a remix to some of those songs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I've thought about it. I've grown, I've matured, I can take that now. So I'm just like, maybe I'll grab a few of them and maybe redo. There's one in particular that I've got a couple buddies like, bro, if you do the remix, I better be on it. So I'm like, I'll roll it around a little bit, see how I'm feeling.
You can definitely spin something with the Redux, because Good on My Own, no features, and then with features, Better Together mixtape. We get it in the same beats. I don't know.
Yeah. I could. I got some of that stuff. Like I said, some stuff in the works, but most of my. Right now, my main focus is my Wasted Talent LP. I'm trying to get that out. There'll be some features, good amount of solos. So sick. I'm about, what would I say, 5, 6 songs done.
Whoa.
And there's 13 as we sit.
Okay.
13 on the album. So I got most of the features out the way. I think I got like 1 or 2 more to do. And then... then it's just the rest of the solos. And then I'll be ready to drop that one. Like I said, I'm hoping around my birthday, I don't like to
exactly. Don't
jinx it or anything.
Something happened and then it's not there. Everybody's like, you said.
And how did you land on the name for that project?
Wasted Talent.
Yeah, I like
because I was at a time where I felt just that. Like, I was just wasting my talent. Like, I wasn't living up to my potential. There's a ungodly amount of songs unreleased right now. There's a bunch of stuff just sitting on shelves because this ain't right or that ain't right, or my one that just irks me the most. I'm waiting for somebody to write their verse. It's like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to be that guy and give this song to someone else when I promised it to you. But I will be that guy and give this song to someone else when I promised it to you, because, I get everybody writes at their own pace. But if you're on a feature, if somebody hits you with a pretty much completed song, the hook, their verse, and all you got to do is fill in your little 16, and you think you can take 3 months to do that, I don't know, but when I was 18, yeah, cool. Take your time, get to it when you get to it. Now where I'm like, it wasn't meant to be. If you felt it the way I felt it, or the way I thought you felt it when I sent it to you, you would have had it done. It's. I go off of again the feelings too. Like when I'm writing, it's what is the beat telling me? How does For me, it's weird sometimes, but I can listen to a song and I can like hear my voice on it already. And then it's just like trying to pick out what I'm saying. So then I can catch that and I'm like, oh, okay. All right, there we go. Sometimes it's that way. Sometimes it's, I need a feeling. Am I happy, sad? Am I on cloud 9? Am I indifferent? Do I feel like partying? Like I just need a feeling. I need something to spark the interest to get the rest of it. But you know.
And do you still hunt for beats, or are you? Because you've had a lot of long-time collaborators as far as producers go.
Yes.
Are you still locked in with any of those guys?
So yes, I am. Right now, I'm working with. I would butcher his name if I tried to say it, but it's K Crew is what he goes by. He's out of Ukraine. I've been getting beats from him for probably the last year. Last year I've been getting beats from him. Before him, I think it was Trap Demon.
Yeah.
I was getting beats from him. Before him, it would have been I Am Amazing. I was getting beats from him. Yes, I did do some YouTube shopping, or YouTube stealing, whatever you want to call it. I ain't made no money off of it.
Right.
So
Right.
And with
some remixes.
Yeah,
some remixes.
And some earlier mixtapes as well, correct? The Blaq tape.
This. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. the Blaq Project.
Blaq Project, excuse me.
I forgot about that one. So, yeah, there was some beats I think I got from I Am Amazing. There was some beats I got from online. What else was there? So I don't want to leave anybody out. I know I got beats from people. There was this dude, The Product. I got a beat from him, or actually a couple beats from him. Who else was it? I think his name was like Carlos Davis or something. I got like a little 5-beat pack from him.
Do you have any advice for younger rappers any beat hunting advice?
Yes. If you are going to take your time and hard-earned money and like actually get into making music, spend the money to get the beat. Maybe you got a homeboy who makes beats. He might not be that great right now. Work with him. Help him out. You know what I'm saying? Heck, if you want him to be better, maybe you and him go halfsies on some new beat-making material or program or something like that. But I always say, if you got the drive and the hunger like that, don't waste it, because you might use one of these internet beats, one of these YouTube beats, and you write just an entire banger, whole little bop, right? That thing goes from nothing to 1 million views overnight. First thing, the dude who made that beat is gonna be like, doot, 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 doot. Yeah, fo, you owe me a bunch of money. A whole lot of money. It's like, but I haven't even made any money. Don't matter. You use my stuff, so use your homeboy's beats. If you gotta spend the money, spend the money. I'm not saying you gotta go buy them $200, $300, $400, $500 beats. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, and invest. Like I like supporting small businesses. You know what I'm saying? Just like you trying to make it, somebody else you might know might be trying to make it, and they beats might not be hitting on nothing, but they got one in there. I know they got one in there for you. You just buy that one. Keep moving. Find the next guy. Keep messing with that guy. But yes, pay for your beats. Own your stuff. Because you don't want nobody coming up to you later when you done put in all the leg work and you done did all the stuff that needs to happen. Oof. And then they go, nah, bro. I need my money that's yours that I didn't work for.
And it saves you so much money and time down the road. Seems like a hassle today.
But
it's worth it.
It's very much worth it.
That's huge advice. Dropping wisdom.
Truth bombs.
We got about 2 minutes left before the break. Might be too long to ask you why between 2020 and 2024 there was such a big break.
There was such a big break.
But besides Stay Still, I guess, in 2023.
The reason there was such a big break, I was actually, from that time frame, I was doing nothing but shows specifically with the Ice Kings. So that plethora of music I told you that is just unreleased, all of that time frame was where I was working with the Ice Kings, and I was actually moving into my house at that point in time. And yay, home ownership.
That's huge.
And yeah, I was just in the studio working on stuff with the Ice Kings, doing shows. I wasn't really like so focused on putting out music as me putting myself out on the scene.
Right.
You know.
That's cool. And who was in the Ice Kings originally, and who's in it now?
The original Ice Kings, I think that was Mookie the Magician, Young A, Shadow. I don't remember everybody in there, and then I think Von Sage.
Okay.
I think, yeah. And then when I joined, before I joined, it was Young A, Mookie, E-Rock, and Von Sage, and then Young A left. And I joined in, and then I think Vonnie left like a year before I actually left. So yeah, I left at the beginning of this year. No hard feelings.
Right.
I just needed to, make sure that Black Justice was good enough to stand on his own.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's huge.
but shout out to Ice Kings.
Yeah, shout out Ice Kings. We're sitting down with Black Justice here on DogStar.
Follow him on Instagram, BLAQ_JUSTICE. Follow us at DogStar Podcast.
We'll be back with more, getting a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain. We'll be right back on DogStar.
Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Wow.
Bow wow.
Welcome back to DogStar.
Sitting down with Black Justice.
Damn it.
We just got back from a hiatus. You
Spent a little bit more time on the stage than in the studio.
Yeah, buddy. Yes, sir.
But like
then-
you were saying, focusing on maybe the group dynamic versus the personal branding dynamic.
That's what happened. I got caught up in that. I wanted to, at the time when I first joined the group, to me, they were like huge. I'm like, man, I heard of them. Like, these guys are crazy good, and then I find out they're reaching out to me, wanting me to join. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
I gotta
Couldn't say no,
ready,
yeah.
couldn't say no. And then I think the first song I ended up doing as an official Ice King was Borderlands. I don't know, that was me and Mookie.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard that one.
I
but
think I
that
saw you
was-
guys at Palmer's with that one.
Yeah,
Crazy,
yeah.
man.
That one that was the start of like all I cared about was just creating. It wasn't
Knocking socks off.
I wanted to. They were doing shows, and I think my first show I did with them was at the Caboose. We opened up for I think like R.A. the Rugged Man or something like that.
Okay.
And my entire 5 years of actually being on it with the music, I've been trying to get to the Caboose, just could never make it happen. Got to the Whiskey Junction when that was open, got to the Red Sea a bunch of times, got to places all around the Caboose, could just never get it. My first show as an Ice King, boom, we hit the Caboose. I'm just like, now, I'm
Drinking too,
panicking,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm stressed to the max, you know what I'm saying? You can't, there wasn't enough liquid courage or anything that can, and on top of that, I don't really like to drink before shows. I will have like a drink or two, but I don't like being
Half second slow or something.
yeah, bro, I don't like that. I can't, what I'm saying? I don't
feel
really
that.
work good that way. So I'm just like stressed, and I don't know, we did that show, and I actually ran into some artists that I was really interested in and excited to see. I.O. the Processor. I don't know if he's still doing music now, but I had heard about him. He was there. I watched his set, and then I went up, and I'm just like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I went up trying to like fanboy, like,
Yeah.
bro, you know what I'm saying? Your music's great, whoop-de-woo, blah-de-blah. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Just talking to him, and then he's like, hey, you going up next, or like, who are you? I was like, oh, I'm Black Justice, and he's like, you're who? And I'm like, I said, I'm Black Justice. He's like, you're like the Black Justice? I'm like, oh, first the? What do you mean the? Like, hold on, bro. Don't steal my moment. I'm here to fanboy right now, not you. And
Battling fanboys,
then,
right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how do you know who I am? He's like, well,
Mookie,
people,
B&E,
B&E,
I.O.,
yeah,
boom.
everybody started like listening, and I'm thinking like, people like my music, like I'm the new guy in the group. Don't nobody know who I am. Ain't nobody heard of me yet, and on top of that, I just joined.
Right.
So I'm sitting there trying to make my way, not knowing that,
You've got that weight on you.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's crazy to me. And then from there on, it was all kinds of just, we did music. Obviously there was ups, there was downs. There's a plethora of music that hasn't been released that we still are sitting on,
Release the music.
Let's go.
the music.
But I'm sure a lot of lessons learned to bring into your own, focusing on the solo career.
Yes, I mean, like I said, Mookie, love that guy to death. I will forever do music with him. There was no ill feelings to me leaving. It was just,
time.
It was time. I feel like everything that they could teach me, everything that I could learn from the group, I had learned. And at that point, am I holding them back? Am I slowing them down? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's always like, oh, you gotta worry about you and you and you and you. And it's like, yeah, I get that. I understand that. But, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't just music. It was deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hung out with Mookie. He came to my house. Our kids called, us uncles. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's deeper than rap. It ain't just music with some of this stuff. So,
not like you're throwing away the relationship, just working on your own.
Yeah, no animosity.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't rock like that. I try not to beef. I know if y'all listen to my discography, then that's not entirely true. But I try not to beef.
And since then, it's pretty much been a steady stream of single, feature, single, feature, single.
I just been trying to get out there, man. I want people to hear what I have to offer. And again, no disrespect, but when I was in the Ice Kings, all I did was go as bar heavy as I could. I wanted people confused and confuzzled.
Yeah, exactly.
To sit there and then be like 3 weeks later, be like, that's what he meant. That's what he meant. Oh man, this guy is crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to where I'm doing stuff, not to just prove that I'm good at one way. Cause I'm always do the wordplay. I'm always gonna be very heavy into the wordplay. But there's also, as a buddy of mine said when I was writing Letters from Gotham City, the music can't always be about you. So I had to paint a completely different picture when I wrote that song. Because I went into it very heavy in my feelings, me, And he was just like, some songs you gotta like let other people be the lead. Let somebody else, let paint a different picture. So what I actually did with that song, the reason I wrote it the way I wrote it, so back to therapy. So my therapist explained it to me. I have this like internal voice in my head that is just like hard on me and hard on everybody else. Like no friends, no love, no nothing, no, but she told me that was something that was created out of survival, out of necessity. So that's why I wrote the song I did. I never needed the love you gave me. I never needed your heart. I never, like, you took over and pushed all these people away and put up all these walls. And, while it felt safe at first, now I'm basically imprisoned, within myself because of myself, and it's just one of those things where, you got to remove yourself to sometimes paint a different story and on top of that, every time you see the townspeople, the city folk of Gotham City, what are they doing? They're just walking around living their normal lives, right? They don't seem the least bit afraid, but they know that the likes of Joker, Bane, the Penguin, Iceman, like all of these people live in the same vicinity as you. Do any of them move? No. Do any of them try and get out of there? No. Is there 600 Batmans in Gotham City? No, there's only the one. You know what I'm saying? So in a sense, Batman, no one asked you to do this. Mm-hmm. You're doing this to yourself. Like, we know what's up. We know at any moment the Joker could pull up in a clown van or a bus or something and rob the whole town or blow up the hospital or take 100 orphans on a ship and sail about the sea or something like that. Y'all know that this is a possibility, but everybody's just walking around, reading their newspaper, getting ice cream, living their lives. So, Batman, nobody asked you for that. Nobody asked you for your hurt and your pain and your love and your admiration. We didn't ask you for that, man. That's you. So that was kind of how I wanted to, speak to myself, but also make it so other people can enjoy it too.
Yeah, and how'd you link up with that girl and JC Warrior for that track?
JC Warrior, I've known that guy for years.
Okay.
I've known him for many, many years. Probably like closer to like 10, 12 years.
Whoa,
I've known here.
okay.
Known him. That girl, same thing. I've known her for probably about 10 years. She's like family to me. My guy, I call him my brother, Junior. He's locked up now. He's been locked up for a while. He's actually the one who made my jewelry I got on here right now. You know what I'm saying? But his wife's ex-wife's little brother is married to that girl. And me, Junior, and my homeboy Righteous, we used to hang out all the time. And then him and that girl got together, and they have three beautiful children. So
Yeah, that's such a beautiful song.
yes, and it's meaningful. I talked to her about it, so she put her oomph in it, and like I said, there's the songs I have with her I could not do without her.
Right.
They would not hit the same. It'd be a good song, don't get me wrong, but her, she just add that greatness to it. So
And real quick, we got about 1 minute. What can you tell listeners about Peculiar?
Peculiar.
Featuring Hannibal, the lyrical
Hannibal,
alchemist,
the lyrical
and
alchemist.
Yassine.
And Yassine, yes, that is my single that I am releasing for the Wasted Talent LP.
Oh, baby.
So yeah, listen
Taste
to that.
of what's to come.
Just a little taste of it, because we're gonna go here, we're gonna go there. I'm gonna take you. It's a journey. It actually explains the hiatus.
Okay.
So
Oh my God.
From I'm good on my own to Wasted Talent. It's just kind of just a little. I did again. Piece by piece to get you from there to here.
Well, we
awesome,
can't thank you enough for joining us,
Hey,
joining fans, breaking
thank
it
you.
down for us.
BLAQ, Justice, Black Justice.
I'm everywhere. Type me into the Google machine. I'm the first and the only. There ain't none of that extra.
Bow wow.
Bow wow.
I never needed your heart. I didn't ask for your faith in me. I never wanted the love you give or you take from me. I never wanted your soul, devotional bravery. So why do you insist on saving me?
I'm not a victim, pain or pleasure. Please pardon me while I pick one. It's not a mission. I don't need your protection or your blessing, no salvation in my vision. Just listen. The chaos is coming. Don't perch. Hold your position. My hurt is hope, home, no distance. My worth unknown, dirt of billions. What's a city without civilians? The pity's apparent, but where's the children? In the pit of me, practice perfecting imagery. Lack of perception, vividly. Drastic direction driven me. Passive aggression, clinically. Passion projecting penalty. Simply don't need your sympathy. Strength is my enemy. Pain taints to send me. Rain came, no cleansing me. Remain stained, the density.
I never asked for your love, and I never asked for you to put your faith in me. I'm the one that always did the saving. You ain't saving me.
I never needed your heart. I didn't ask for your faith in me. I never wanted the love you give or you take from me. I never wanted your soul,
made me. Yeah, yeah, praise you greatly. Yeah, yeah, pain is shaping. Sharpen like a pencil when I paint. Erase the point that we toxicate the phases baiting. Waiting with bated breath while suffocating. I've suffered aching, stubborn, pacing, covered, facing another casing. A grudge berating. I'm a drug you're chasing. Your lust for my love is frustrating. Flustered facing, just encasing. Trust invading, gaslit to combustion, waiting.
But I've done it so long, I've done it so long on my own. And after so long, I found out that I can't do it all alone. I really do need your help. I really do need your love.
I never needed your heart. I didn't ask for your faith in me. I never wanted the love you'd give or you'd take from me. I never wanted your soul. Devotional bravery. So why do you insist on saving me?
When I look in the mirror, I see a stranger. I start to my safe place, but I end up in danger. I'm lost in my sadness, I feel myself in anger. When I look in the mirror, and I see a stranger. I look in the mirror, and I see a stranger. I start to my safe place, but I end up in danger. I'm lost in my sadness, I feel myself in anger. I look in the mirror, and I see a stranger. If in a perfect world, I find a perfect time to dissect all my problems in my imperfect life. See how it's so real young. Seek out and you shall find. Misery keeps company and love it ain't always blind. If I feel weak and I fall, then they all just walk on me. I'm locked up in my mind with my failures and tragedy. My pride, my peace, my poison, my pain, my purpose, my property. See, I withstand depression, but won't perpetrate what's prescribed to me. I'm standing face to face. I'm looking eye to eye. Man, it's in the mirror. He must be in disguise. I feel intimidated. Truth is, I can't lie. Can't recognize my reflection. It's got me staring right. And I see a stranger. I start to my safe place, but I end up in danger. I'm lost in my sadness. I found myself in anger. When I look in the mirror, and I see a stranger. I look in the mirror, and I see a stranger. I start to my safe place, but I end up in danger. I'm lost in my sadness. I found myself in anger. When I look in the mirror, and I see a stranger.
When I look in the mirror, I don't know who's looking back. Like the sun hitting the water, but the reflection is black. Part of me is missing, and no matter how I'm wishing, it's never returning. I'm praying, but nobody is listening. So now I'm having an identity crisis, cause knowing who you are fundamentally is priceless. But look is hitting me from angles like a bishop. I got my section hits up, yet I'm feeling pretty mixed up. Hold up, stop, cause I need to slow this down. I'm coming back down to earth, cause I need my feet flat on the ground. Spellbound by permutations of self-deception and lies. I realize I'm not concretized, so there's nil for my eyes to recognize.
Mirror, I see a stranger. I start to my safe place, but I end up in danger. I'm lost in my sadness. I found myself in anger. When I look in the mirror, and I see a stranger. I look in the mirror, and I see a stranger. I start to my safe place, but I end up in danger. When I'm lost in my sadness, I found myself in anger. When I look in the mirror, and I see a stranger.